Hey, you there! Go get me some whiskey!
Sorry, lady, but I don't work here.
I cannot believe you won't help me! That is really rude! Where is your manager? This is unbelievable!
Karen, you do not want to mess with my inner Hulk rage. Now, for every likes this video gets, one Karen will learn her lesson and stop messing with people in the stores. So please, smash that thumbs up and notification buttons. To the story. I don't work here, lady. Got told I cannot shop at Walmart if I work there. I don't work at Walmart. This happened about last year when Walmart employees in my areas still had to wear blue shirts to work. I was wearing a blue shirt and shopping in the electronics department. I picked up an expensive gaming headset for my son that was on the last peg, and for some reason, the peg's security lock wasn't locked. As I'm reading its features, a woman approaches me.
Excuse me? That's the one I'm looking for.
And she holds out her hand. I look at her confused. I'm sorry, but I'm going to buy this for my son. If you ask, they might have more in the back. She gets angry.
Hey, I'm a customer. You cannot just take stuff off the shelf customers want to buy.
Oh, and it clicks. She doesn't know I'm here as a customer too. Ma'am, I don't work in this store. I'm shopping.
And now you're stealing and lying. Where is the manager? I want you fired.
At this point, an actual employee hears what's going on and comes over to see who needs help. I'm fired, apparently, I say. The guy, whom I know because this is my usual store and I shop all the time in the game section, pauses. But, you don't work here. Nope. I hold the headset out to him. Ring me up, would ya? I didn't bother to see how the woman reacted. Besides, even if you did work there, it would make the employee discount worthless if you couldn't even buy anything there. The second story by u/edgelord soup. Shut down a Karen by being super loud. I left retail a few years ago and noticed a dramatic improvement in my physical and mental health, largely due to the reduced contact with the listless cattle you see in the stores. However, it seems that the customer service vibe never completely washes off, because I was recently accosted in a liquor store by a woman with a jean jacket and all too familiar haircut we all know and hate. The particular store in question is part of a chain setup like a reduced size Sam's Club, but the only things they are selling are booze and cigars. Great place to blow a paycheck. I got to leave work a little early due to working some extra hours at the beginning of the week, and I was completely fried. The plan was to grab a craft beer I'd never tried and maybe some slightly pricier bourbon and just chill. My work's dress code was flexibly business casual, so I was wearing dress shoes and some slacks with a dark polo, which is regrettably similar to the store uniform. Only some of the associates wore aprons and all of them had the store name embroidered on the polos. I was knelt down near the end of a beer aisle when I overhear a woman talking to her boyfriend one row over. They're trying to find a nitro stout and they aren't seeing it because the aisle they're in sort by local beer and the one they want is from out of state, conveniently about 2 shelves over from me. I speak up and wander around the corner to let them know where I saw it, and they thank me and ask if I've had it before. We chat briefly about 1 or 2 others that we have had that are similar but not as good, and then I get back to my browsing. Then I feel a tap on my shoulder. Karen.
Excuse me?
Me. Sorry, am I in your way?
Karen. No, but you can help me find where the brand of whiskey I'd never heard of is?
Me. What kind of liquor is that?
Karen. I think it's a whiskey.
Me. Okay, do you know if it's a bourbon or an Irish whiskey or... Karen, pulling a mock sad face.
I don't, sorry.
Me. Well, the whiskeys are 3 aisles that way with the bourbons on the left side and everything else on the right. Unless it's scotch, which is over there.
Karen, aren't you going to take me there?
Me. Well, sorry, I've got to pick up my own stuff and get home. There should be someone around here who knows the selection a bit better.
Karen, I can't believe you won't help me. That is really rude.
Me. Lady, I don't work here. I just drink a lot.
Karen, I want to talk to your manager.
At this point, I was unseasoned to waste of the mid-50s entitled boomer trash, so I shook my head and turned around to keep looking for my own stuff. I hear a soft, scorned little gasp behind me, and I feel nails digging into my shoulder. Preface: I'm not a well-adjusted individual. I have a family of untreated conditions, and I was lucky to get out of primary/secondary school with PTSD and all of my teeth. My bodily autonomy and personal space are very important to me. And while I'm patient and understanding in most every other regard, this one issues that you do not push with me. The split second between feeling her dig in and realizing what's going on, my brain's RPMs have buried the needle, and I'm half a restrained impulse from biting off her manicured princess fingers and gouging out her eyes. I opt instead to take a lesson from Primate Cousins and Dragon Ball Z. When thing gets bad, yell to assert your power. Me, with a roar so loud, it left me hoarse-like for 2 days after. Get your hands off me! The store goes dead ducking quiet. I grab her hands, wrench it off me, and shove her away with both hands. She stumbles, bumps into a shelf, but doesn't fall over. She's looking at me the way a cow looks at an oncoming train, eyes saucer-wide in disbelief and incredulity, the fear not quite managing to take hold yet. She opens her mouth to say something that was probably, "How dare you?" or something similar, but I'm already fronting at the mouth. Every D&D barbarian player's wet dream for what my face looked like right now. Me, still screaming and stumbling over my words a bit. Never ducking touch me, ever. I will rip your cheap butt in half, leave me alone, and leave me alone. Every time it looks like she's going to interject, I cut her off with another, "Leave me alone." By now, management and one of the other associates are booking it over to defuse what they're sure is going to be imminent violence, and by all appearances, they're right. My face is red, my body is shaking, and while I'm not that big of a dude, I'm poised for a fight against a comparatively small woman. Manager: "Sir, you need to calm down." Me: "I am calm. She needs to keep her hands to herself."
Karen, he jumped on me. Call the police.
Me, not as loud, voice cracking. "Go ahead, lady. I'll wait. You started this." Associate: "Sir, you need to come with me." Me: "I'm buying my beer and leaving. Check your security tapes. She came after me first."
Karen to manager: "I want him fired."
Me: "I told you I don't work here. The duck is wrong with you." Manager: "Sir, I told you to calm down." Me: "Just look at this." I pulled my shirt collar over and showed them where her nails dug in. There's no blood, but it's pretty obvious that the marks are fresh and that I didn't do it to myself. Me: "You want to get the cops involved? Fine. Pull the darn tapes and we'll talk about pressing charges." It seems to have dawned on Karen that she might have screwed up. She hasn't said anything. There's a crowd watching us at this point. I see at least one cell phone recording. I turn to a random person sitting nearby. Me: "Did you see what happened?" Young guy: "Well, not all of it. I saw her holding you and you pushed her away." Me, voice cracking like a teenager's: "Thank you." At this point, I grab the six-pack I was looking at and start to leave. Manager: "Sir, you need to." Me: "I'm leaving. If you want to call the cops, I'll wait for you to check the security tapes, but then I'm pressing charges." I walked towards the tills and set my beers on the counter. The attendant at the desk was looking over my shoulder at the manager, but he must have given her the okay because she scans me out and I leave with my beer. I made it about halfway home before I had to pull over and weep. The adrenaline crush hit me super hard, and I ugly cried for like 5 minutes until I could get enough composure to drive. I didn't go back to that store for a few months. Either way, don't remember me or it was settled after I left. Moral of the story: embrace your inner howler monkey. Don't give them a chance to think or wind up their usual indignant tirade. Well, the best way to deal with crazy ones is to go out crazy. Well done. The third story. Are you deaf? So this just happened and I'm actually kind of proud of it. A bit of backstory. I stay with my kids during the day and work nights. My husband and I have opposite shifts so we can save on daycare. Because of this, I don't usually go grocery shopping during the week because it can be difficult getting my kids through the store. My daughter sometimes has meltdowns in big crowds. She doesn't have any sensory issues according to her doctor. We think she just doesn't like the noise or just gets tired easy, and that makes her fussy. I remember that I was supposed to get party supplies for work today because one of the ladies there is going on maternity leave, and I had volunteered to help set up a party for her. So off to the store we all go and everything goes surprisingly well. I'm getting ready to check out at the self-scanner when it happens. I feel a tap on my shoulder followed by the "excuse me" that we all know and dread. So I turn around, my mistake. Despite the tone used, the lady seemed relatively normal, no Karen haircut at all, until she started talking. Lady,
Excuse me, this won't scan.
I look around and she's definitely talking to me. Now, I would normally help even if someone is rude because why not? However, her tone and pitch was harsh enough that my daughter started clinging to my arm. My son doesn't care, lol.
Lady, excuse me? Hello? A little help?
I'm just focused on my daughter, rubbing her back because I feel her to start to freak out. How this lady thought I could help is beyond me. I don't work there and was dressed like I literally rolled out of bed. Fortunately, the self-checkout attendant shows up and asks what the problem is.
Lady, this won't scan and this person,
gesturing vaguely in my direction,
is no help.
Lady turns to me while the attendant tries to ring up the items for her.
You're so rude. Are you deaf or something?
At this point, I still hadn't said a word to her and the idea hit me. Like a freaking beautiful rainbow wrapped in lightning. I'm not deaf, but me and my kids are learning ASL, American Sign Language. I just started learning it so I can ask basic questions and can sign the Baby Shark song. Don't ask, my kids love it. Smiling the biggest freaking smile I could manage, started signing. It makes no sense. I'm basically saying, how are you? Do you want food? What is your name? I know a little sign, Baby Shark song, lol. I swear I never saw someone lose color in their face so fast in my entire life. It was glorious. She got her items, paid, and practically ran out of there. The attendant trying her best not to laugh. I turned to the attendant and said cheerfully, "Have a nice day." And she and I shared a good laugh and I went home. P.S. My daughter is fine. She probably just got scared. I honestly would love to give you an award because that is a golden moment for embarrassment to see it happen. The fourth story. Look, sir, I do work here and I am the boss. About 5 years ago, I worked at the International Center of a University in the US. To give some background info, I'm an Asian female, 5'1" in height, and though I was in my early 30s at the time, I did still look quite young and was often mistaken for being in my early 20s or late teens. My main job responsibility at the time was the recruitment, training, and management of about a dozen international student interns who worked the front desk. Anyways, we had been swamped that in, so I hadn't had time to go out to eat lunch. I got a sandwich at our campus vending machine and I sat down in the break room. The break room was always cold due to the AC blasting through the room. So, I put on a comfy university jacket I kept at my desk just to wear during break. I kept the break room door open to keep an ear out of the front and let my interns know they could still pop in to ask any questions they want. I had hired a couple of new students that month and they were still learning. A few minutes later, I heard a man's voice yell something along the lines of, "No, no, no, no! You do not understand! You are stupid, stupid!" The childish outcries exclaimed in a grown male voice made me immediately stand up and rush to the front desk area without even remembering to take my jacket off. The man was literally wagging his little finger at my interns and yelling while almost comically stomping his feet. I interjected his tantrum and introduced myself as the intern's supervisor, gave my name and position, and told him I could assist him with the issue. The man immediately looked me up and down, scoffed a short "no." He then turned right back to the intern and asked her to call the supervisor, as he needed to ask someone who actually works here, not just some young girls like the intern who sits there at the front repeating nonsense. It wasn't my first rodeo with unnecessary angry students, so I calmly gestured at my intern to step away and planted myself directly in front of him. That made him change his rant towards me, saying, "Listen, I know you Chinese want to help each other, but my issue is urgent, so I need to see your supervisor. Supervisor! Call!" Makes dialing phone gesture here. "Him and he can sign my I-20. And yes, both my intern and I were Asian. But nope, neither of us were Chinese. And I hate when people over-enunciate when speaking to me. My thoughts often immediately go to English is my first language, moron, as is evident by the fact that I just spoke it to you. Also, it pissed me off that he assumed the supervisor would be male. I did my best to remain calm, however, and confirmed the issue. "Oh, so you're here to get an I-20 travel signature? If you go online and submit the form, you will." "No, dang it! You don't understand!" he screamed. He then proceeded a rapid rant, saying that I must get a real staff member who actually works here, instead of giving him the same instruction again, because he needed his sign now, because he wanted to go out of town tonight, and surely the school didn't want to make him, a student who pays such a high tuition, to have to come back on campus just to get a signature before he leaves the country after his road trip. "Do I know how much money he gives to the school?" he asked. "Do little girls from Asia even understand how expensive his luxury trip was to book?" he wondered. "Get the man who can actually help him in here," he demanded. More background info. University students in the US on an I-20 visa need an updated signature on their form every once in a while in order to travel abroad and get back. Now, I hated it when entitled students ask for expedited services just for convenience. Many students actually planned ahead and made the request on time, and it wasn't fair to expedite the process for whoever asked the loudest. I was actually the one who had the power to approve very limited last-minute travel signature requests due to real emergency situations, such as family emergency, etc. But obviously, this guy and his luxury vacation wasn't going to qualify for expedited service just for being a D-bag. I raised my hand and put my palm out in front of his face for a second to stop his rapid ongoing rant. "Again, sir, I am the supervisor in this area. No, and let me continue. And I hear your issue. My intern here has given you the instructions for I-20 signatures already, but you want expedited service simply because you don't want to have to come back to night office another day to pick it up, yes? Okay then, no. Let me continue. Unfortunately, that cannot be arranged, so please go home and submit the online form like all of our F1 students and wait 2 to 3 business days for a response." He started to speak again, but I put my hand out again to stop him, maintained eye contact, and picked up the phone. "Also, sir, if you do not leave immediately, I will be calling campus security to escort you out of this building for yelling at me and my staff members. But before you go, just so you know, I will be noting in your form that you're missing X number of days from school. Note that you must maintain your full-time student status for your visa. As you have kindly told us of your planned weeks of absence, please be ready to submit documentations of why this was an excused absence from your classes. And lastly, do not insult my staff again, or you will be banned from entering this office again." He stood there stunned for a second, and then started to say something again. But I then proceeded to dial the number on the phone. I couldn't remember campus security extension, so I was actually pressing random numbers. And so, he ran out. This may not have been the best solution ever to a yucky situation, but this was actually the first time I kicked students out of the office, so I was a bit shaken up about it. The best part of the story though is what happened next. My boss at the time, white female in her 40s, walked in a few minutes after and asked me to come to talk to her. I thought I was in trouble for some reason, but she actually asked me instead if everything was okay, because she met a rude international student outside. Apparently, the rude man had run into my boss outside, and he had asked her if she happens to know who is the boss of the girl in there, and if she knew how he could talk to him. My boss had said that she was the supervisor of the woman who works in there and asked if she could help. The man apparently then said something along the lines of how she then needed to find him, the man highest up the chain, because of his issue demanded real work. He was rude enough that my boss actually did call campus police to escort him out of the campus property. She told me that next time, the moment he raises his voice, I do not need to even engage him in conversations, but can just kick him out immediately, as he was forewarned that is what will happen next time. For those of you who ask, I work for a school that had a very large international student population, which is why there was always a wait period for travel signatures, especially during peak vacation times. Also, I never personally saw the student again, but he sure did not cause any more issues because I did not ever heard about him again. TLDR, entitled man kept demanding to see a supervisor when OP already identified herself as a supervisor, because his thick head couldn't understand that a young Asian female could be a manager. Oh my gosh, everything about him is just terrible. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.